Ladies and gentlemen, we have been working all day, and now it's after work. I'm Joe. Welcome back to That Nintendo Show, your Nintendo news show, which normally we do live on Twitch for about an hour. I'm trying again this bite-sized version of news topics for you guys, and I apologize again for the camera if you didn't watch the eShot drop video. Just got home from work super late, and I gotta be up in a few hours, so no time for me to really set up, but I did have time to write some topics down that I did want to discuss with you guys, so that way we can get these videos out for you, and you get more Joe, right? You get more Joe. Isn't that what this is about? I love you guys. Without further ado, let's drop into the pipeline. Travis Strikes Again. You guys know it's coming out as a Nintendo Switch exclusive. Will be able to be played with one Joy-Con, which that's going to be an interesting challenge. So I'll read some of these quotes real quick for you guys, and then we'll talk about it. This is a quote from Suda. "One thing that I decided back at the very beginning when we first started developing it, as far as gameplay and controls go, is that the entire game would be able to be played with just one Joy-Con," Suda told Eurogamer via translator in an interview. So I think that's pretty cool because you can actually go through different control styles if that's the case. Now, those of you who don't know, No More Heroes 1 and 2 came out on the Wii back in, going back to 2007. Eventually got ported to PS3, so it had some more standardized control schemes as well. With the use of the two sticks, you had the nunchuck and the Wiimote to use the nunchuck to move around the character, and use the Wiimote to hack and slash your way through the enemies with Travis's sword. Interesting thing here is how this would exactly work with just one Joy-Con, because it seems like you are missing a few buttons in the process, but I think without the use of a second Joy-Con, you're probably going to have a fixed camera angle. Again, this is me speculating here. You'll probably have a fixed camera angle, so that way you can still use the Joy-Cons, that one Joy-Con controller's joystick to move around, and then slash around with motion controls with that same Joy-Con, or even, your action buttons being your A, B, X, Y, and you still have your triggers for other things as well, maybe to sort through inventory or use the pause menu to kind of switch around. But it doesn't seem like it's an end-all be-all. I think it's cool that we have developers trying to make every use of the Joy-Cons, and also still being able to play a game standard. I really, really like that, because that gives you versatility. Like, Nintendo seems like they're giving us options in terms of like Super Mario Odyssey, where you're able to play with the motion controls, but you can also just chill out, relax, and play with the Pro controller as well, or two Joy-Cons and a Joy-Con grip, and just play the game standard. I really like that. It would be really interesting to see what kind of controls. I want to know what you guys think about this. Another quote here: "While Grasshopper isn't talking about Travis Strikes Again gameplay, Suda did say about the project. It's still a bit early, so we can't really comment completely on what kind of gameplay will be in the game, but one thing that we can say is, like the previous No More Heroes games, it certainly will be a sword action type game where the player feels good swinging that thing around," which is awesome. So they're sticking to its hack and slash roots, which is great. I mean, come on. Who doesn't want to hack and slash around with a wannabe lightsaber? I'm just saying. The developer also further noted that this time around, Travis will be equipped with a power glove-like armament on his left hand called the Death Glove, though it's unclear what its purpose will be, beyond letting Travis leap into video games Tron style, which I think is going to be the most awesome thing, because one thing Suda51 also announced was they were working with other indie devs, and I believe Travis was playing Hotline Miami in the game in the trailer that they had shown a few directs ago, the last Nindy direct that we got a couple months back, which I thought that was great. So I would love to see something like going into like a Shovel Knight world and just ripping apart Shovel Knight characters. I think that'll be hysterical. Just give me 8-bit Travis walking around. This opens up new possibilities of different gameplay mechanics within the same game, which I think is another thing, going back to being able to play this game on one Joy-Con as well, which would be really, really dope. You guys know how I feel about playing with just one Joy-Con. It doesn't fit my hand, but if they do it the non-conventional way of just moving around one joystick and touching the face buttons, I'd be willing to test this out for sure. So moving on from that Eurogamer article, we're gonna go over to Nintendo Life, and they're talking about Capcom and Monster Hunter Double Cross on the Switch, making some really good sales. So let's just read this real quick, and I'll give you guys my thought on this. Net sales for the 6 months ending in September 30th are up 17% compared to last year, reaching 33.7 billion yen, $295 million USD. Operating income jumped 191.5%. Jeez, these numbers are insane. 5 billion yen, $43.79 million in the US. This rise is mostly down to Capcom's digital contents business, which include video games and smartphone games. Capcom highlights the stalwart performance of Monster Hunter Double Cross on Switch as one of the key drives of revenue, and also picks out the original 3DS version as a big seller. As previously reported, Capcom is also pleased with the sales of its other Switch release, Ultra Street Fighter 2. Monster Hunter Double Cross remains a Japanese exclusive on Switch at the time of this writing. Elsewhere, Capcom picked out Resident Evil 7 and Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite as other commercial successes, despite the latter having a weaker UK debut than the aforementioned Ultra Street Fighter 2. And it is a good thing for Capcom, especially from what we've been hearing of them supposedly potentially might be having to sell some IP to make ends meet. But whether or not that's true or not, I think these numbers are showing a good sign that, hey, people are wanting to buy these games, and people are, well, I mean, Resident Evil, granted, it didn't sell as well as Capcom wanted it to. Great game. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, it's been, hit or miss depending on who you ask, who you talk to, and what reviews you're reading. But the Monster Hunter World Double Cross, even I picked it up on my Japanese eShop account for Nintendo Switch, and although I've yet to fully jump into it and actually figure out what I'm doing in there, I'm excited. Of the hope that maybe with the sales of Monster Hunter Double Cross in Japan, that it might make its way over to the US, because that would be awesome. I know a lot of you guys out there that come into my streams really want Monster Hunter Double Cross on the Switch. And of course, we're not going to be getting a Monster Hunter Worlds, unfortunately. That'll be saved for the PS4 and Xbox One. But hey, maybe we'll get some sort of iteration of Monster Hunter that might be different from Worlds for the Switch somewhere down the road, one would hope. But I think just the amount of textures, how big they're trying to make that world for those consoles might not be so good to put over to the Switch, just because of, if you try to compress all that and try to, take away certain textures that, give that game a certain pop because of how detailed. I mean, if you look at the trailer for that during the Sony press conference during E3 this year, good news for Capcom. Great that they're keeping it up, and I hope that we at least get to see more stuff from Capcom over on the Switch, and hopefully, let's start off with Mega Man Legacy 2, and then let's start asking for some new IP, or just, some equal IP that is already on other consoles brought over to the Switch. Resident Evil 7. Just saying. So before we go, one quick reminder, the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Nintendo Direct is today, November 7th at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, 6 a.m. Pacific Time. So if you're at all not sold on the game yet and still need more information, check it out. It'll probably be 15, 20-minute video. I'd say 30 minutes at the very longest. I just don't know what else that they plan on showing with this game, other than maybe more plot, new characters, new worlds, some monsters, some more combat. It's a JRPG. Sorry, but it's an JRPG game. I'm sold on it. I'm going to pick it up on my birthday because that's when it comes out, and I don't know when I'm going to be able to jump into it, to be honest with you guys, but I really want that collector's edition. But yes, personally, I'm sold on it. I'll catch it. I'll do a reaction at some point to it, or we'll just talk about it on a stream sometime this week. I promise you guys I'll get back on the live streams. Just work has been crazy, And yeah, so I would say if you're super excited or if you want to know more about this game are the only two reasons you should be checking this out. Otherwise, if you're already going to buy it or you're not going to go buy it and you don't want anything spoiled for you, don't check it out is the only thing the only time I will ever say to not check something out, because I feel like they'll probably go into more story than necessary and I want to go in as blind as possible with this game. And with that, we end today's episode of That Nintendo Show. Remember, you can catch me here on YouTube with That Nintendo Show. We're going to hold off on the live stream versions of this show. I want to try to go back to bite-sized episodes of this and give you guys news content in smaller chunks. I feel like this might be better for the long run in terms of just, again, like I was saying earlier, in terms of me being able to focus a little bit more on some other stuff that I'm trying to work out for the channel for next year. Stay tuned for that. I don't want to say anything until it's fully ready to go. And also with the live streams, giving you guys more video games, because that's what you guys want to see on the live streams. So I'm trying to give that to you. More video games on live streams, less me chit-chatting. I'll save that for the YouTube. And remember, if you enjoyed what you saw here today or heard my beautiful voice, because the next time I will have a camera, be sure to give it a like and share it with your friends. Let them know what I do here. We talk about video games after work, and we also play video games. Right now, we're going through Knights of Azure 2, Bride of the New Moon. Really enjoying that. Despite the 2 crashes that we had on stream. Yes, my Switch crashed twice. The game specifically, not the Switch itself. That was interesting. But otherwise, I'm enjoying myself with the game, and those playthroughs are going up episodically on the channel here. So I'll leave the playlist up once I have that episode ready to go, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Love y'all.